Alright, now for the one and only sniper rifle, the F2. A bolt-action sniper rifle, specialized for taking out long-range targets. Alright, pretty nice looking. So the location of the F2 sniper rifle is in the attic after completing the bell puzzle in the atelier. So once you do that and open the big portrait door, get into the attic, and climb up. Run straight ahead. And here you go, the location of the F2 sniper rifle. Nice. So being a bolt action, I'm not a huge fan of it because I typically avoided the bolt action sniper rifles in the Resident Evil games, and whenever they offered it, I would go for the semi-automatic. However, this is the only sniper rifle in the game, so I have no choice but to compromise a little bit, but that's okay. It is a nice looking rifle, and it is pretty nice. Let's check out the custom parts. First, we got the high capacity mag, greatly increases ammo capacity, figures. Then the high magnification scope, increases the scope's range, that's self-explanatory. And finally, the cheek rest, which reduces weapon sway while aiming. So these are probably the most interesting custom parts that I've reviewed so far. So both the high magnification scope and the cheek rest for the F2 sniper rifle can be found with the Duke after defeating Lady Dimitrescu.
Oh, good. I was just thinking of ways to pass the time.
Here's the parts. And there you go, high magnification scope and cheek rest. The location of the high capacity mag for the F2 sniper rifle is in this portion of the village after receiving Luthier's key, which I'll also show how to gather right here. Anyway, once you receive that, come to this location. Come to the left here, because this is Luthier's house. And of course, there'll be a hint to get Luthier's key right there. Come in here. And look at this, because this contains the code to what you need to unlock. 270917. And here's this safe over here. Wardrobe, whatever. There you go. Nice treasure here. And lo and behold, a suitcase containing the high-capacity mag for the F2 rifle. Alright, let's test the F2 out. Wow, bulky-ass weapon. Let's actually test out the scope. Okay, so pretty weak magnification out the gate, unfortunately. Now let's see that tactical reload. All right. Now let's inspect the F2 rifle fully upgraded. Wow. All right, so cheek rest, high magnification scope, and high capacity mag. All right, so now let's test it out. Definitely better magnification, as it claimed. Okie dokie. Now, I'm gonna test the F2 sniper rifle on the same enemy as the shotguns, the large lichen. God damn, that took 20 shots to defeat a large lichen with the F2 sniper rifle, no upgrades or parts. This thing, if you compare the firepower statistic, see the M1897 has 560 starting power, while the F2 has 600. Yet, it took more shots than the shotgun. That right there proves, I think, that the shotgun does more overall damage due to the spread, while this is a single sniper rifle bullet. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not a huge weapon buff, so I can't say for sure, but that's my speculation, and it would make sense, to be honest. Alright, now let's test the F2 sniper rifle with full upgrades and parts. Alright, so the damage was cut completely in half and only took 10 shots from the F2 sniper rifle fully upgraded with its parts to defeat a large lichen. Oh yeah, you better upgrade this thing. Considering it's the only sniper rifle in the game, it would be smart to do so. Alright, that's gonna conclude my test of the F2 sniper rifle, and it being the only sniper rifle, that's it for the sniper rifles. Actually, on that note, now for the next weapon. This is interesting. The Handcannon PZ. It is described as a large non-standard revolver, a monster weapon that uses sniper rifle rounds, making it more powerful than a Magnum. Okay, I can tell you guys right now, statistically that's not true, but this does make for a very unique weapon. It's a revolver that uses sniper rifle rounds. So, I don't know whether to regard it as a sniper rifle or a Magnum. I mean, physically, it's a Magnum, clearly. It just uses sniper rifle ammo. So I thought this would be the perfect point to review this weapon, because it's sandwiched in between the sniper rifle and the Magnums. So this is gonna be the start of the Magnums category, by the way. So, let's go ahead and test this weirdness out. Oh, by the way, this is an unlockable. To unlock this, you have to complete the game in hardcore mode. Then you could purchase it for 60,000 CP. Let's check it out. Alright, here's the Handcannon PZ with full upgrades. Now notice that this weapon does not come included with custom parts. Upgrades only for this one. So there you go. Now, the Handcannon PZ is very unique, considering it uses sniper rifle ammo rather than Magnum ammo, so it was debated what I was going to use this against. Considering it's using the same ammo as the sniper rifle, I am going to go ahead and test this against a large lichen as well. Alright, so only 5 shots from the Handcannon PZ to take down a large lichen with no upgrades. So now let's test it fully upgraded. Okay, well, this isn't the first time this has happened in my weapon reviews, but no difference between no upgrades and full upgrades. It still took 5 shots, regardless that the firepower, statistically, is nearly double. So, at this point, I just wonder if the large lichen has, like, a damage limit. I don't know. That's very inconsistent and is confusing. One thing you could definitely take away from this weapon are the other statistics, the reload speed, the firing speed. Based on this test, that's the only difference I saw. So, I apologize for those who think there could have been a better way to do this, but I don't have enough resources or game saves to perform an alternative test, so we're gonna leave it at that. That is gonna be it for the Handcannon PZ, and truly end all sniper rifle type weapons. Alright, now let's get into the real magnums of the game. The first one is the M1851 Wolfsbane. Ha, I love this thing, man. A revolver that uses Magnum rounds, incredible firepower and piercing ability, said to be effective against werewolves. Okay, pay real close attention to that flavor text that I just read. That actually is a real thing and a real statistic. So Lycans are the werewolf type enemies in this game, and I've conducted my own test that proves that the Wolfsbane has more firepower when used against those enemies. So that's why this weapon has the honor to do the explosive headshot against the Lycan. To gain access to the M1851 Wolfsbane location, you first have to defeat Moreau to acquire the crank. Once you have the crank, you return from Moreau's to this location. Unlock this area. Come all the way up this hill. We'll speed it up. Come to the right over here. And you can't get in here from that side. You gotta come around. Come under here, this hole. Defeat this Lycan. And here it is. It's also known as Moreau's hidden weapon. Nice. Now let's inspect its custom parts. You got the long barrel. Always love that. Greatly increases firepower. And you got the increased capacity cylinder. Increases ammo capacity, funnily enough. All right. The increased capacity cylinder for the M1851 Wolfsbane can be found with the Duke once you reach Heisenberg's factory.
Welcome.
Go to supplies and parts. And there it is, increased capacity cylinder. It's quite expensive. The long barrel for the Wolfsbane can be found after restoring power to Heisenberg's factory. You want to locate to this section of MB4 floor. Earlier in the game, you defeat a soldat in there. So once you have power, you activate here. And you have to deal with these guys. Once you do, you come over here to this briefcase in the operating room, and there it is, the long barrel. So let's go ahead and test this bad boy out. Loving the look. I'm loving a lot of the weapons in this game, the way they're designed. Now to check out the Wolfsbane fully upgraded. Ugh. All right, a nice long-barreled Magnum, one of the best looking ones in this game. All right, so beast. Can't wait to test this out. So, being a proper Magnum, I am going to test this out on a Varkolak, those big-ass wolves. Wow, so it only took 3 shots from the M1851 Wolfsbane to take down a Varkolak with no upgrades or parts. So I'm curious to see how many it's gonna take with full parts and upgrades. Alright, so only 2 shots from the M1851 Wolfsbane to take down the Varkolak with full upgrades and the parts. So yep, definitely a firepower increase. Now, because the Varkolak is a Lycan type enemy, that flavor text that I mentioned earlier definitely came into play there. Now it's time for the highlight of the weapon review. I'm going to perform my Magnum tradition, which is executing a critical headshot using a Magnum on a standard enemy. Now in this game's case, I'm going to use the M1851 Wolfsbane for the headshot, even though the next Magnum, which is the S.T.A.K.E, statistically has more firepower, but the flavor text that I pointed out earlier for the Wolfsbane contributes to the damage caused to Lycans, and also the fact that Lycans are the only enemy in this game that you can decapitate with a headshot. So it's only fitting to use that, so enjoy. Headshot. That was epic. Alrighty, that is it for the M1851 Wolfsbane. Now for the last Magnum, the S.T.A.K.E, or the S.T.A.K.E. Nice. A semi-automatic Magnum with incredible firepower and speed. Its destructive power gave it the nickname Pile Driver. Alright, upon first inspection, a lot of people probably mistake this to be the same Magnum from Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. It is not. That was the 44 Auto Mag. This is known as a Wildey Magnum. So the S.T.A.K.E. doesn't become available until you begin a New Game Plus, and you can find it with the first Duke you come across. Once again, since this is the first Duke with an actual save point, this is the one I have to demonstrate with. But you do see him earlier. You can go to Weapons. And there you go, the S.T.A.K.E. Now let's check out its custom parts. First, we've got the improved grip, greatly reduces recoil. And of course, the high capacity mag greatly increases ammo capacity. All of the custom parts for the S.T.A.K.E. Magnum can be found with the Duke along with the weapon itself. So if you have the money on hand, you could fully upgrade it right on the spot the moment you retrieve it. There you go, the high capacity mag and the improved grip. Those are the final custom parts. All right, let's test this thing out. Now to check out the S.T.A.K.E. fully upgraded. Nice. You could clearly see that high capacity mag. All right, now let's test it out. It's a crazy clip length. Right, that firing speed is insane, and of course, again, like I said, that capacity. Whew, once you have this baby, and with infinite ammo like I do, you're basically a god at that point. Let's test the S.T.A.K.E. against a Varkalak. It's gonna be interesting because, again, of that flavor text of the Wolfsbane. Alright, so it took 4 shots from the S.T.A.K.E. to take down the Varkalak with no parts or upgrades. As I forewarned, it was going to take more shots than the Wolfsbane with no parts or upgrades, simply because of that flavor text the Wolfsbane has. Now let's test the S.T.A.K.E. with full upgrades and parts. Alright, so the amount of shots it took was cut in half, and only took 2 shots to defeat a Varkalak with the S.T.A.K.E. fully upgraded with its parts. Alright, so again, in terms of raw firepower, this is the most powerful gun in the game, but you do have to consider that flavor text of the Wolfsbane sometimes. Considering there's a lot of wolf-like enemies in this game, they make it a point almost. I guess it depends on multiple other preferences. I mean, look at the capacity of this gun. 28 rounds once you have it fully upgraded, so right there, it is loads better than the Wolfsbane in terms of capacity, and it's flimsy 7. Alright, that is going to conclude the S.T.A.K.E. Magnum, as well as all Magnums. Now for the most destructive weapons of the game, the explosives. And we're gonna start with the Grenade Launcher. So the GM79 makes a comeback from Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 2 Remake for that matter. Let's check it out. Ooh, but it has a really intricate design in this version. A break-action grenade launcher, uses explosive rounds and flashbangs. So yes, keeping to grenade launcher tradition, this does use multiple rounds. Unfortunately, it's only 2, but traditional regardless. So the GM79 Grenade Launcher is what's considered the water wheel weapon once you get the modified map from the Duke. And this is where it's located within the village. You have to defeat Beneviento first to get the 4-winged Unborn key and unlock this gate to regain access to this portion of the village. And you already have the Iron Insignia key on hand from defeating Dimitrescu, so we'll unlock this area. And here it is, the GM79. Woo! So let's first test it out with explosive rounds, classic. What is unfortunate, of course, is the capacity. You can only have one grenade at a time, so you gotta reload constantly. So there's really no set fire rate with this weapon. So now let's test it with the flash rounds. I'm gonna fire it into the dark area. Alright, so for the explosive weapons, I'm gonna stick to the same enemy as the magnums. I'm gonna test the grenade launcher as well on a Varkolak. Alright, so it took 7 explosive rounds to take down a Varkolak with the M79, and those were with direct hits. Now, of course, being a grenade launcher and an explosive, there is blast radius damage, of course, and I am tempted to actually test out how many radius rounds it's gonna take. So let's try it out. Alright, so that took me 11 rounds to defeat the Varkolak when I kept it within blast radius. Granted, at least 2 of those rounds were very close shots. Like, one of them he jumped right into, and that very last shot was near his face, I feel like. But regardless, yeah, it took more rounds when just radius damage. It could probably take up to 14, maybe 15 maximum if you have the farthest radius possible, but still are actually hitting them with something, you know? All right, well, that is going to conclude the explosive rounds for the M79. Now I need to test out the flash rounds. Alright, so as you can clearly see, the flash rounds do work on the Varkolak. It'll give you about 5 seconds or so to do what you need to. But that's about it. He doesn't remain stunned for very long. This is far better on more regular enemies such as Lycans and more IK. Alright, well that's it to demonstrate the flash rounds since they're not a killing round. So that's gonna go ahead and conclude the flash rounds for the grenade launcher and conclude the whole M79. Now for the next explosive weapon, which kind of is the last, the rocket pistol. Oh my gosh. A small rocket launcher that can easily fit in one hand. Fires small rockets that explode on impact. Alright, so I feel like this weapon was both an appease and a slap to the face for the fans. Like, we've been missing the infinite rocket launcher from games since Resident Evil 6, so they sort of compensate, but in a hilarious way. They give us this rocket pistol. Now, it is not infinite out the gate. What's really interesting about this weapon is it actually has its own ammo, which you have to create and buy the recipe from the Duke beforehand. To unlock the rocket pistol, because it is an unlockable, you have to beat the game in the most difficult difficulty setting, Village of Shadows. Once you beat this game in that mode, you'll unlock this weapon in the in-game store, and you can purchase it for 80,000 CP. It is quite a price to unlock and acquire this weapon. And I have to tell you from personal experience, it may in some people's eyes not be worth it, but it is kind of a hilarious weapon. Let's test it out. No recoil at all. Alright, this weapon also receives no upgrades, so that's it for overviewing it. I myself use it a lot more to bust open projectiles within the map than on actual enemies. I find more use for it in that regard. But let's go ahead and test this thing out on a Varkolak. Okie dokie, so 18 miniature rockets to take down the Varkolak with the rocket pistol. This is far weaker than the grenade launcher. This almost is not worth the requirement to unlock it. All right, well, that's gonna go ahead and conclude the rocket pistol. We're not done yet, however. All right, you have reached the end of the weapon review. Time for the final weapon, which is regarded as Heisenberg's self-propelled artillery. Now, as the name implies, you can only use this in a specific section of the game, when you're going against Heisenberg, which is the last lord before the final boss, Miranda. Now, there's only one real way to demonstrate this thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and climb aboard.
Metal polymer composite, huh? Time to fight fire with fire. I'm coming, Rose.
Now this thing comes with a couple things. You got a machine gun on the right, and you got a cannon on the left. So let's test the machine gun out. Now let's test out the cannon. Now this thing, when you defend with it, it also has a chainsaw attachment. However, this doesn't actually cause any damage to Heisenberg. It's purely a defensive maneuver. All right, now let's go ahead and test it out on the enemy it's for. So the key to defeating Heisenberg is you have to aim for his glowing spots, which are basically his weak points. It depends on the difficulty mode, like how many times you have to do it. I believe in standard mode, I think you only have to do up to 3 rounds. Possibly 4, but it should be no more than that.
You're like a goddamn Cartridge. This will be your Colts will be another addition to my army.
So probably roughly 5 seconds of continuous shooting of the machine gun to defeat one of those weak spots. If you're really good, you can get it between 15 and 20 seconds to defeat all of the spots, and then you begin another round. And like I said, 3 to 4 rounds, so between maybe a minute to 2 minutes to defeat him in standard mode. So this has been Heisenberg's self-propelled artillery.
You don't stand a chance against Miranda by yourself.
This can't be the end for me! I must kill her!
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that has been my ultimate HD weapon review of Resident Evil 8 Village. I so hope you guys enjoyed this video. This has been a long time in the making and very anticipated. I apologize that this didn't come out so much sooner. I just had a lot of motivational issues in the last several months, and some unfortunate events happened that a lot of people who follow my channel know about, of course. And yeah, there was just a combination of multiple factors that really caused the delay of this weapon review. But once I got my Discord running and I got a lot of my friends and followers to actually join me and to witness the development of this review, it got my motivation back, and I finally did it here. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this game. And a minor detail, but I am very happy I was able to get this out in 4K 60 frames per second. It's one of the best looking videos I've ever produced to this date, and I hope they only get better and better from here on out. So hope you guys enjoyed the weapons of this game. Of course, I am going to also do a melee move review of this game. There's not a whole lot of melee moves. Honestly, the only really well-known one is what Chris performs when you do a successful block, but there are a couple escape maneuvers that Ethan can do that does some sort of impact on the enemy, so they're all worth showing. So that'll be the next piece of content I create in terms of regular content. But until then, this is Shankster94, aka the Gamer Shankster. Rate, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shankster_94. Check out my Facebook page. Support me on Patreon. Also, join my Discord. Here's my Discord username, as you can see, and my server is named Shankster's Hub. It's a really great place for fans and viewers alike to just hang out and converse with each other. A huge shout out to O Feargale the Fearless for his current patronage and being a great friend through recent troubling times. And shout out to these individuals for their unconditional past patronage. Peace out. I will see you guys in future content.